Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Tyler's Weekly Rundown. This is recapping the week that was Week 7 in Borger Cafe. I got some last-minute tickets to see the undefeated Pitt Panthers tonight. So, let's get this over with, but we have an exciting episode. There's a new award, folks. You'll find out about it shortly. First up, the woo of the week. It's going to Wayne's fantasy football team, dropping a catastrophic 169.54 points. Unbelievable. Next up, the oof goes to none other than Red Zone Ronaine. 75.26. Ugh, bleak. Next up are You Got Robbed. Got Linguini with Muscles dropping 134.66. Still taking the L. More on Linguini later. Next up, our Laugher. Again, Wayne's Fantasy Football League. Dropping 169 points on Game Plan McMahon and winning by 71.8. Rough season for Game Plan McMahon. More on that later. Next up, our Nail Biter of the week. A lot of competition for this one. More on that later. Taints over Gasps by a measly 1.74 points. I know we were all watching this matchup intently. A lot of crazy lead changes back and forth. Not back and forth, but, you know. It was a wild game. And finally, the moment you have all been waiting for, our new weekly award, the What Were You Thinking award. So the What Were You Thinking, it's not going to be clearly defined, but we'll all see it when it happens. And this week, the inaugural What Were You Thinking award goes to the Gasps, leaving Javonte Williams 26 points on the bench when I believe he only lost by like 2 points. It's a rough look for the Gasps. Really could have taken the fun out of the Taints Gasps matchup, but you know, would have been more fun for the Taints or for the Gasps. You know. Alright. Let's talk bonus stats. It was a week of close calls in Borger Cafe. 3 games with a margin of victory 3 points or less. Number 2, we got our first New York Football Gordon's loss of the season, thanks to a dominant performance by Wizards of Loneliness, who had 5 scorers 17 points or better. Real impressive stuff. And last, the Game Plan McMahon season from hell continues. They've been in a lot of nail biters. They've scored over 800 points on the season and are the only 1-6 team. You can't write this stuff, folks. The 71.8 margin of defeat against Wayne's fantasy football team, the largest of the season. We'll have to look in the record book to see if it's the largest ever, but even larger than the almost 200-point game by Red Zone Ronaine earlier this season. I believe that was only a 69-point margin of victory. Oof, sorry Game Plan McMahon. Alright, last up, we got our matchup of the week. There's a lot of competition for this one, but I'm going to go with Linguini with Muscles versus the New York Football Gordons. The 2 top teams in Cheese South. Gordons needs to bounce back from not only the first loss from of the season, but devastating season-ending injury to Brandon Ayuk. That's tough stuff to overcome. And to deal with that and immediately have to play Linguini with Muscles, who I don't know if people are checking up on Linguini. They're only 4-3. currently the top scorer in the league. So we'll see if Gordon's bounces back or if Linguini establishes themselves as one of the powerhouses of this league. All right, go Panthers. Going to the national championship. We're calling it now.
Borger managers, welcome back for week 7. Very exciting stuff. Before we get into Commissioner Sit Down this week, we have an all-new installment of Fox in the Hen House.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm Jay Fox. We're here in the Hen House tonight. First topic of business to get to concerning DeAndre Hopkins. He is now a Chief. The Wizards had some type of crystal ball or something going on. They knew about this trade before ESPN even heard about it. It wasn't on my radar, but they managed to pick him up, so great job there. We can expect more trades to happen as the NFL's deadline comes up on November 5th. Now in Borger world, the big news this week was the McCaffrey-Rice trade that happened. We already covered that. We also have confirmation that Red Zone will be trading Juwan Jennings and Austin Eckler to Bed Bath & Beyond for Terry McLaurin. We can expect more trades in Borger world as well. We got the trade deadline coming up in just about 3 weeks. Now, there's some trade rumors going on right now about Detroit's running back. I can't tell you which one. My sources tell me that there have been several offers on the table for this player. Detroit's offense has been one of the most productive in the NFL this year. They're actually tied for second for rushing touchdowns. So if you're trying to work out a deal to acquire a running back, I can't tell you again which one. Probably going to have to sweeten the deal because that player is going to come at a premium. Other big news this week is that Tyreek Hill is up for grabs. Kamish, kind of amazing news, right?
Yeah, that's crazy, Jay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so either. But Hill came into this year's draft ranked 3rd overall, but he's struggling to play up to his potential with Tua sidelined by injuries, and the Dolphins just looking like booty cheeks overall.
We're back, baby. Strike up the fucking band. We're back, baby. Start me this week, baby. Let's go.
Now the biggest gamble right now, Cleveland. Nobody knows what to expect. Deshaun Watson is out for the rest of the season, and Jameis Winston is stepping in to fill that gap. The big question now is Cleveland going to give the ball to Winston and let him cook, or are they going to rely on Chubb? Chubb is, back after pretty substantial injury. I don't know. I really don't know what you do. I don't know if you try to see what this kid can do and end up starting the receivers. I would assume Njoku is going to be good either way, but the rest of the receiving core for Cleveland, I honestly have no idea what to do. I might do a wait and see rather than play him this week, see what this kid can do. Anyway, that's it for me. Pass it back to you, Kamish.
Jay, thanks so much again for another great installment of Fox in the Hen House. See you again next week, same time, same place. All right, bud. See you later. All right, all you Borger fans, we are back with another installment of Sit Down with the Commish, this time for week 8, and this time with one of our most heralded and celebrated managers we have here in the league, Mr. Matt Durning from the squad Bed Bath and Beyond. Mr. Matt Durning, happy to have you here today. How you doing, bud?
Great. How we doing?
Well, Yankee fans, doing a little bit better than the commish these days, but I'll take it. Go New York. Look at that. That's a big one. That's a big emblem. Hell yeah. Represent.
Those Metsies put up a hell of a fight.
Oof. Right down to the wire, man.
Yep.
You be kidding. But listen, we're here to talk football. We got a lot of interesting stuff actually in Borger this week. We have, we were just talking offline over here. We were just looking at another week of just interdivisional matchups, just tons of that kind of thing going on, thereby kind of, setting up the divisions, and people are starting to break away, fall back, what have you. Yep. So, we got a lot of stuff going, and got some questions people want to know, and we want to get that done here today. So let me launch right into it, all right?
Great.
Bed Bath & Beyond. You're 3-4. You're locked up in this pickle division we just spoke of. All right. 3 teams in that division, locked up division, have 3-4 records. One of those teams, not one of those 3-4 teams, but the division basement dweller at the moment over here, Game Plan, is promising a big run. He is also playing. You are both playing each other. You are opponents this week. So
yeah.
My question to you is, how do you like your chances in this ultra competitive division and with Game Plan this week?
Yeah, I mean, the division's tough. It seems like the whole league really is pretty tough this year. Both divisions have some really strong competitors and some really tight, kind of middle of the road competition. Somebody's going to have to come out on top and pull through on this. So, we're all kind of in the mix still. Even Game Plan, I don't think, is out of it. When you look at his points that he's scored, he's outscored me. He's outscored Taints, I think. He's outscored more teams than, he should be outscoring to be absolutely last. He's just had some terrible fantasy luck this year.
True.
With matchups and play, having big performances against the best team in the league probably once or twice. So those things add up. They work against you, but eventually they tend to come out in the wash. So I could see him being poised. I'm not counting anybody out here yet. And yeah, it's going to be a tough run to the end here.
Yeah, well, heard you, man. You've always been one of our more level-headed managers over here, and you give all these other teams you're playing the respect they deserve. So it doesn't seem like we're going to get a whole bunch of smack talk over here from Bed Bath. We're just going to get an even-keeled approach and what looks like to be a very competitive match. So I think a lot of eyes are going to be on that. Certainly everybody in Pickle all weekend over here is going to be fighting through the muck in their own interdivisionals, and looking at this one pretty hard.
Going to be a tough matchup for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, we're midway point. We are at the midway point of the season. See, week 8 coming up.
Yeah.
Just in terms of general manager philosophy, you're talking waiver wire moves, acquisitions, start sit kind of scenarios, just GM Bed Bath & Beyond outlook. Midway point moving forward, all things considered, what do you think our focus is?
I mean, as everyone in the league knows, the waivers are tough. They're slim pickings out there. You really have to have that waiver priority set up to get guys that are worth their salt. So it doesn't always work out that way, and then you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to put a couple points on the roster or solidify a bench spot for maybe this guy doesn't play, or these kind of things. So at this point in the season, you got to kind of just stick with your horses and start the studs and try to fill it in wherever you can with whoever's hot, or find the guys that are performing somewhat consistently that you can throw out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Consistency is key all around. You can look around, your bench most weeks too. You find maybe a good guy is starting to jar loose a little bit, put up some points, but then do you sit a stud? Do you have, where the ceiling is, where the floor is? But yeah, consistency. You got to look for the most consistent guys and really just hope they're putting up some numbers every week.
Yeah, and I mean, I was hoping for more out of Richardson so far this year, but the injuries, a couple of subpar starts, and he just hasn't really been cutting it yet.
Yeah, Richardson.
See if he can bounce back.
Not so much. Yeah, for sure. Richardson, big question mark going on over there. Deej, let me ask you a question over here. Do you think if Tyler, our own Birds of War manager, hadn't sent that now infamous crazed bat photo on the MLB Discord, do you feel like maybe the Phillies would have fared a little bit better?
I don't know. It kind of seemed like their clock was running out. So
yeah, maybe it was destined to happen anyway. I don't know. I'm of the mind maybe the crazed bat photo accelerated a little bit too, but I'm a Met fan, so I'm okay with
anything's possible.
Anything is possible, sure. So look, we were talking about all these great matchups, Tej, and thanks again for sitting here today. This is always great talking with you. But what matchup besides your own? We were talking about a whole bunch of good ones. Are you really focused in on this week? I think I may have a clue or a thought rather on where you may go with this, but curious to hear what you have.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the schedule, just like a lot of big matchups here this week. I mean, you got all 4 top teams in each division facing each other. So those are some big time matchups. I kind of think the heavy hitter of the week is probably going to be Linguini and Gordon's. Got some high scoring teams, some big time players there.
We're talking about top tier cheese. The top 2 teams in cheese right now.
Right.
Okay. And we also have the top 2 teams in gas.
Also head to head. Yeah, it's a big week. Somebody's gonna take a hit at the top and open it up for some of us here in the middle. You just gotta take advantage of the opportunities.
For sure, yeah. The middle guys have a real opportunity to squeak in here. Also, too, RJ is coming off his first loss this season. He's got a great squad over there, but
a little banged up there too. Lost Ayuk last week, and
yeah, I'm sure he's anxious to get back on the winning side because you don't want any cracks in that armor, and he's
for sure. But Linguini's a tough matchup to try to get back on.
Always has
high scoring output this year.
Yeah, it's pretty outstanding. He's never really too big on the waiver wire of the trades. He really just has a perfect team every year, it seems. This Linguini, and just like rides
it into the draft.
Yeah, it just makes it happen. Who am I to question any of the methods over there? I have a toilet bowl trophy sitting on my shelf right behind me. So,
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, you look his team up and down, and you're like, this is the highest scoring team in the league. Like, it's kind of like, how does this happen? But it is. I mean, Henry, I'm sure, is a big part of that for him. But
Henry's been coming.
It's not like he's got studs at every position. He's just making the right moves and putting things together. It's working out for him.
He's getting squeezing the most out of that team for sure. But listen, all right, we got one more thing over here, and it's kind of a big thing. This is coming to the rest of the league over here on noon on a Friday, but as we speak on Thursday evening when we're going through this, I think we are just finalizing some paperwork for the Bed Bath & Beyond RZR trade that's going down, which sends Eckler and Juwan Jennings over to Bed Bath & Beyond, and over on the RZR side of town we have Big Dog Terry McLaurin going. So very happy about that trade in general from a managerial perspective on my end, but we're sitting over here talking, so that was a big trade and it was just announced. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. I think I'm giving up a little bit of consistency probably with Terry, but I really need a better solution for my RB2. It's been a hole since basically Pacheco got hurt. The bench guys I had have not been showing out so far. So, I'm going to have to keep an ear to the ground on the waiver wire, see if anybody pops out. that might be worth it for a week or two here and there. But yeah, so I'm happy with Eckler, and then I really think that Jennings now is in a decent position to do some things. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but he could be the bright receiver 2 out there for San Francisco now with Ayuk on the IR.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Look, worth mentioning over here, Jennings was I used that in my managerial capacity, that my number 1 waiver spot on him this week, because
Nice to flip him back around.
yeah, which is great because we have something working over here, but it was also just a play on the fact that Ayuk is pretty much donezo, and then even Debo, as he put up a really big week or two earlier in the season, and he got a little banged up. Now, if he's a solid WR2 option over there in San Francisco, that could be big because Purdy and company, they could really get it downfield, and they put up a lot of points.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there, so we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Out.
Hell yeah. All right, last thing I got for you today, Matt, Borger Bowl 3 prediction. It could be Bed Bath, it could be any team you like, but obviously, in your most impartial or practical way of thinking over here, what do you think, Borger Bowl 3?
Yeah, I mean, there's still so much season left to play. It's kind of tough to say right now, but I could see maybe Wayne pulling it out.
Wayne top dogging out in pickle, yeah.
Yeah, I could see him making the finals there, and I kind of have to lean Linguini in the other side, and I mean, it's kind of front runner picks right now, but
no, there's nothing.
If all holds
for a reason, yeah.
I think they have a pretty good shot.
Yeah, let's see what's going on with Godwin. That was an awful. And what a stupid injury that was too.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That late in the game, down points like that. I don't know. I mean,
that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Theoretically, they could have gotten back into it, but the odds were not great.
Odds were not great, and have a guy like Godwin go down, and also Metcalf was okay, right? Double check.
I think he was.
Okay.
I think so.
Those are some explosive WFT receivers. So I just always on my radar, division stuff,
Yeah.
But listen, Mr. Durning, this was great chatting with you here today. Another great installment. Sit down with the commish, season 3, week 8. We're in the thick of it, man. We're really in the thick of it, and
Fighting for our lives here.
Hell yeah! Thanks again for stopping by, Matt.
Absolutely. Have a good one, dude.
You too, man.